Miss P's Kitchen. Today I'm going to make bread for you using flour that I have made at home, and if you haven't seen me do that, you can check out the video on that. Today we're going to be using the fresh ground flour. I'm using olive oil, but you can use any kind of oil you want. A whole packet of yeast, a cup and a half of water, and honey. And this is what the end product will look like. This is what I made last night. So let's get started. First, let me show you this bread. This is some that I made last night, and it's about 24 hours old. And I want to show you how soft it still is. This right here is the heel, and you can tell how soft it still is even after 24 hours. This is a fairly quick and easy recipe to follow, something you can easily do with your kids. First, we are going to mix what we call our wet ingredients. We have 1.5 cups of warm but not hot water. Hot water will destroy your yeast. We have 2/3 of a cup of honey and 1/3 cup of olive oil. And this is an entire small packet of yeast. So let's mix all of our wet ingredients together. This is the honey, and I'm just going to mix it directly into my water. And then my olive oil. Give that a little bit of a stir to get everything mixed up. And then we will put our yeast in. And again, we want the water to be warm but not hot. And you don't want to over mix your yeast once you put it in. Just give it a mix to get everything blended, but don't overwork it. Now that this is mixed well, we're going to let this sit and proof. It generally takes about 10 minutes, but we'll just watch it and see what it does, and I'll go ahead and time it as it's proofing and let you know exactly how long it takes. It does matter as far as the temperature goes. The warmer it is in your home or your kitchen, the faster it will proof. Okay, our yeast has finished proofing, and we are ready to start mixing this with the flour. First, we're going to put this into our KitchenAid mixer using the dough hook, and then we will add our flour and knead. Okay, we are pouring this gross looking mixture in. I'm just going to give this wet mixture just a quick little mix, and then we'll add our flour in. Alright, I have mixed the wet mixture a little bit, and I'm just going to pour my flour in. This is again 5.5 cups of fresh ground flour, and it will look very wet to begin with, and we're just going to use our dough hook on our mixer and knead it until all of that moisture pretty much is absorbed. If you don't have a mixer with a dough hook, you can knead this by hand. It just takes longer. I leave a little bit out just in case it gets too dry, and then I can add this little bit in as I go, as it needs it. So we'll just start this mixing, and I always start it on low and let it get combined well. Okay, everything is combined well, so I'm going to stop my mixer and scrape down the sides, and then I'll add a little more flour because it does need more. I expect to use the entire 5½ cups that I blended. And we mix again. It has been a few minutes and it's still mixing, and it does need the rest of this flour, so I'm going to go ahead and pour the rest of this in as it's mixing. I have turned my mixer up a little bit just to make sure that everything is good and kneaded quite well. And you'll see as time goes on that it continues to just combine, and all the moisture is being absorbed by all of that flour. I'm going to turn this back down. And I just vary. I'll turn it down for a minute and then turn it back up a little bit. Every now and then you'll just want to stop your mixer and scrape everything back down. You can use just a regular wooden spoon, spatula, whatever you want to use, just to scrape it off the sides until it gets mixed really well, and then let it do its thing. Okay guys, I think that is just about good enough. You'll see that, I don't know if you can tell the consistency of it, but now that everything is kneaded really good, we're just going to kind of push it down into the bowl, and then we wait. It should take anywhere from 30 minutes to 1 hour, and we'll let it rise and double in size. Okay, we are back. We have dough that has risen almost to double its size. So now we are going to take it out of the mixer and punch it down and then divide it in two. So I'm just taking it out of the bowl, and this is what it looks like. You see the grains because it is a whole wheat recipe. And we're going to divide this in two, and then we're going to form a ball and then flatten it down, and I'll show you how that's done. Okay, so I have divided this dough into two parts. And now all we're going to do, I've spread some flour onto my clean countertop. You can use wax paper if you want. I don't, because I don't like fighting it. but we simply flatten it out. Now that it's fairly flat and even all the way around, we just lift the edge and roll it up just like that. And then we'll take the ends and just kind of fold those in, and then I will put that into a greased loaf pan just like that. And I will do the exact same thing with the other ball. Okay, we have flattened out and rolled up both of our balls of dough and placed them into our greased loaf pans where they will rise for 45 minutes. And you'll notice that I just loosely covered those with saran wrap. And again, this is using whole wheat flour that I made at home myself. For 45 minutes and they are ready to go in the oven. So I'll just uncover these and pop those into a preheated 325-degree oven for about 25 to 30 minutes. We are ready to take our bread out of the oven and see what it looks like. I have just lightly brushed these loaves with melted butter. And the smell is amazing in my house right now. Here we are with our finished bread. I hope this recipe works as well for you as it does for me. I do want to remind you that this is a whole wheat flour bread recipe, so it is not going to have the consistency of a white bread or your regular sandwich bread. It is extremely soft though. One thing I did want to mention is I did not add salt into this recipe. The one that I did last night, I did add salt. This one I omitted it. Either way is fine, whichever you prefer. I would just encourage you to try one with and one without and see which one you like better. The Italians, a regular Italian bread did not even have salt in it. And a quick little history lesson for you. That dates back to the 1500s when there was a hefty tax on salt. So they didn't even use salt in their bread. So as you can see, it does turn out and everything is just fine, and it is a super soft, delicious smelling bread. Let's see what this looks like on the inside. There we have it. I hope you've enjoyed this this video and you learned something new, again, I encourage you to teach these things to your kids. Now is the perfect time to do it, now that everyone is at home, and these are skills that I personally think are important to have, and I wish more kids and young adults did have these skills. So again, thanks for watching. You know the drill. Like, subscribe, share. Thanks for watching, guys.